Hey, I'm Thom Pankhurst. I'm here at GAK again, and I'm going to be providing you with a lesson on how to use economy picking in your playing. So let's get straight in. What is economy picking? Economy picking is almost the same as alternate picking, except it differs in some really key areas. So in alternate picking, you're going to keep a down, up motion all the time. So if you're picking, it's going to be down, up, down, up, down, up. If you're staying in one position, that's going to still apply for the economy picking thing. But the difference is going to be when you're stropping string sets. So for instance, if we take example number 1, we're going to take 15th fret, 12th fret, and then 12th fret on the B string underneath. So if we have a look at that, we're going to end up with this. We've got down, up, down, up, down, up. Whereas in economy picking, we'd use the economy of motion to continue that upstroke down to the string below. So we'd end up with this, which is down, up, down, up. So what this means is that when you're picking, you're not approaching the string from the other direction, which means that you've got greater economy of motion, which means you actually need to move your hand less. Let's have a look at this in the context of an example. So for instance, if I chuck some gain on, so now we've got some gain on, I can really demonstrate the difference between this and the different sort of articulation you get. So I'm going to be playing the 14th fret and 12th fret on both the G string and the D string. So it's going to sound like this. And then this is the best way that we can highlight the differences in this type of playing. So in strict alternate picking, you're going to be using a down, up motion the whole time. With economy picking, you're actually going to be using the same motion if you're going in that direction. So you'd end up with down, up, down, up, down, down. So it would sound like this. So obviously we end up with the same notes, but it's just a different way of picking them, and it can be a little bit easier on your hand, especially if you're using this sort of motion, because you're not approaching the strings from the outside, you're using the motion within the inside of the two strings. So if you speed that up, I'm going to show you the difference between the types of sounds that you can get and the articulations. So the first one is going to be strict alternate. And then if I do that with economy picking, you can hear that there's a subtle difference in the way that it articulates. With alternate picking, I tend to find that you can end up with a really even stroke happening all the time, which is sometimes exactly what you want. With economy picking, you're going to end up with like slightly different sounds because your pick attack isn't going to be exactly the same, which I think is cool. There are like jazz fusion players and jazz players who strictly use economy picking because it suits that smoother sound. So that might be something that you potentially want to look at if you want to break out of that strict alternate practice routine that you're always doing, or you want a different sound or a different articulation to the things you're doing. So let's have a look at something that we can actually use. If we take a pentatonic example, so we're going to play E shape minor pentatonic, so it's going to look like this. And we're going to break that into groups of 6, so it's going to look like this. So with alternate picking, it's fairly easy to pick. However, when you get up to high speeds, that can sometimes be a bit tricky. And one other way that you can approach that is to use economy picking. So with economy picking, it's going to look like this. It's going to go down, down, for every group of 6. So altogether, it looks like this. So here it is up to speed. So you can hear that I get a slightly smoother sound, and that's personally something that I have been working on because I'm not a big fan of the alternate picking sound all the time, and I like the way that it sounds on that. You might disagree, so hopefully you can hear that it's basically the same notes, but my articulation's different. If it was strict alternate picking, it would sound really uniform, whereas this way you sort of get a slightly bubbly sound going on. It's just a different way of playing. If you're a big fan of the alternate picking thing, that's cool. If you're not a big fan of that, maybe try the economy picking thing. If you want just another thing and another string to your bow, then be able to do both. There is no right or wrong way with this sort of stuff. So the last one I'm going to leave you with is a group of 4 with a lick you can use in E minor using the economy picking thing. And let me just break that down for you. So it's going to go down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. So altogether it looks like this. Cool. So hopefully you've got a good idea of how you can use economy picking in your playing and what it sounds like and how we approach it. Once again, I need to stress the idea that if you come from a strict alternate picking background and you want to stick with that, that's cool. There are other ways of playing guitar though, and they sound different. And ultimately, you just want to be able to use all of these different methods to express yourself in all the ways that you can. So if the music you listen to is strict alternate picking, cool. If it isn't, that's cool too. If this has been something that you've really enjoyed or you've learned something, feel free to tag GAK in any of your social media channels. I've been Thom Pankhurst and you've been watching GAK. See you next time.